Hello, everybody. My name is Benjamin Bloom, and I have just witnessed on the telly box West Brom 2, Nottingham Forest 2. Really interesting game. Obviously, 4 goals, 2 own goals, a stoppage time equaliser, and 3 or 4 very suspect refereeing decisions. Let's just say Forest would feel justice was done with the stoppage time equaliser, but then the very last kick of the game, another bizarre event where I can't tell you whether it was offside or not, but it looked like West Brom possibly were denied a goal with the last kick of the game. Anyway, lots to talk about. Here is what happened. Remember, West Brom were top going into this, Forest fifth going into this. A win would have put West Brom 9 points clear. A win would have put Forest temporarily second. As it stands now, Leeds can close up to within 4 points. Forest are temporarily fourth, but amazingly, wins for Bristol City, Preston and Brentford, however unlikely all three of them winning, would put Forest outside the playoffs again. Oscar says the player on the goal line was offside because he was behind the keeper. Yeah, big mess on the goal line with another very weird one. Maybe they have called it right, but not seen anything like that in a while, put it that way. West Brom line up with Johnston in goal. O'Shea and Townsend are the fullbacks, still without their first choice fullbacks, Gibbs and Furlong, or Ferguson, even whoever. Bartley and Ajayi, so still no place for Higazi in the team, are the centre halves. Sawyers is sitting with Livermore to his right, bit more licence for Livermore, and Kravinovic a bit further back in a 4-3-3. Pereira down the right, Robinson down the left. Robinson Kanu is still keeping out Zahor and Austin up the top. Forest, having made a load of changes and lost to Charlton in the week, they revert to their strongest team. Samba in goal, Cash and Ribeiro are the full-backs, Figueiredo and Worrell are the centre-halves. You've got Sal and Watson sitting, Amiobi off the right, Lolly off the left, Silva in the 10 position off Graben. Good start by West Brom, nice and pacey. Forest straight back on their heels, but we would expect that to be the pattern in this game. West Brom pushing, Forest sitting nice and tight, ready to pick them off. And it's a huge chance, first off, for Forest, for Graben on 7. He has to score this one. Ribeiro, great work down the left, crosses it. It's kind of halfway between jumping height and standing height, and that's where Graben gets confused. But he's in the middle of the goal, not very far out. Huge chance, and a guy of his ability should be putting that in. Horrible header down and wide by Graben. Forest should be in front after just 7 minutes. Cash gets hurt off Robinson on 12 minutes, and it's the first of a kind of niggly atmosphere. Richard says Stroud should be struck off. We had some issues watching Ipswich last year with Stroud as well. He certainly there's no smoke without fire, let's just say, with Mr. Stroud. It starts to get a little bit niggly after this. On 20, O'Shea, they work the free kick to get him on his own at the back. He seems to be the spare guy, I think. He's a centre-back by trade, and he heads around to the back post, heads it into the crowd there. Could have done better. Lolly drags the right footer wide. Cash goes through Pereira for a yellow card. Pereira, great player, really big fan of his, but he likes to indulge in the kind of game of bluff with the ref and the players. If he gets the treatment meted out to him, he will go down, and we saw that in Millwall last week and again today. Great player, I have to say. Yellow for Cash on 26 though. Bartley heads over Kravinovic's corner, and then we get the opening goal on 36, and West Brom take the lead, and it's booted down the pitch. Forest are in possession, and Sal gets caught on the ball. They're normally very reliable, Watson and Sal. He gets caught by the wrong guy again. Pereira takes the ball off him. He comes in off the left-hand side, slides it straight away to Robinson, who's pulled off on the far side. Robinson is going to hit that one. First time, right foot, curls it in. Lovely finish. I don't know if this has been updated on who scored but that's either the 12th or the 13th assist of Pereira's season. What a really, really good signing he's been. And it is 1-0 to West Brom on 36. Sal takes a yellow himself on a Jai, leaves his foot in there. Forest rally just before half-time. 41, cash down the right. Nice volley by Silva. Gets a hold of it and it's just rising over the bar. But, Oscar says the FA say any part of the head, body or feet is nearer to the opponent's goal line than the ball in the second last opponent. Yeah, I suppose Robson Kanu is laying down on the goal line. I just wonder if he hadn't touched it because it hits him. Well, we'll never know, will we? Maybe Robinson should just... I think if Robinson hits that in the other corner, I think Robson Kanu's not interfering with play. But we'll go on to that at the end because we've got to talk about Forest's equaliser on 44. Amiobi down the left. This is very similar to the chance they create for Graben earlier in the half. Really good feet, lovely low cross. Graben's there, he pulls off into the space. Barley has to do something and he slides in, puts it into his own net. When a team's going to get wise to Forest down the sides, you need to have some cover there. We know they're going to sit the two centre midfielders there, and a lot of the attacking, it's expecting the fullbacks to get forward and support the wide guys. And that's why they stay so solid, because they don't commit the two holding midfielders forward. And here they go again, they've scored from down the side. It's 1-1. Forest equalised just a minute before half-time. My half-time notes say really tight one, West Brom with the possession, but that threat down the sides means Forest leading the XG battle there, because they created those really two good chances, both from down the left-hand side. Graben misses one and they forced the own goal from the second one. Lovely goal by West Brom. Nice start from them. They played the better football, but remember, a football match is a competition, and it's he who scores the most goals by the end of it that wins. And a lot of people get bogged down with territory and possession, and it is absolutely fine to sit back and not have the territory or the possession if you win the game. So mostly done by Forest in the first half to get in there. 1-1. Here we come for the second half. No changes by the manager. Livermore, Kravinovic, he swings the long ranger. Samra, troubled in the goal with this one. Down to his right-hand side, pushes that one round the post. Bit stagnant for 10 or 15 minutes. We're up to the hour now, and it's Livermore fed into the box. Tight angle straight at Samba. Pereira on the volley from the corner. That travels a fair way before Amiobi blocks it. What is noticeable is now that Livermore is out of that double pivot with Sawyers, he is a bit more of an attacking influence and can do a fair bit more going forward. 62. Pereira, free kick here. Again, O'Shea managed to get the spare man. Heads back to Livermore. Half volleys that one. Good technique. Hits it too crisply, doesn't he? And it's at Samba who makes the save. Right, so we're going to go into the 64th minute now. West Brom are going to take the lead, but it's the first of three decisions that seem to go against Forest in sort of 15, 20 minutes, because Livermore goes in on Amiobi, and I know we've seen this in super slow motion on the telly, but it does look like it's a foul that they've missed here. Amiobi kind of twists and Livermore's got his leg round his and it goes down. I think most people would admit it should be a foul. Yes, I do buy the argument that once a foul is not given, that there's more phases of play and other stuff happens, but those phases of play shouldn't happen if the foul gets given. I think Lamouchi will not be happy with that one, and Forest fans won't either. So here come West Brom now. The foul has not been given, and of course it's the wrong guy. Pereira has got it. He's going to pick out the right pass. He can play the ball on the run as well. Such a good player. Out it goes to Kravinovic. Again, here's another example of Livermore with the extra licence. He runs inside. It's fed to him, and now Forest get a little bit unlucky, I think, because Watson closes down and Livermore spins. The cross goes first through Watson's legs and then it goes underneath Worrell's foot, and poor Figueiredo, I do feel sorry for him, is exposed by this. He doesn't expect that ball to come through two of his defenders, and it's put into his own net. Yes, West Brom fans will argue defend the cross. Forest fans will argue that a foul was committed on Amiobi and this phase shouldn't have even happened. It did, and it's 2-1 to West Brom. Now here goes Mr. Stroud again, because Lolly runs at Sawyers right on the edge of the box. Look, I've got no dog in this fight. I support Ipswich. It's a foul. He knocks it past him. They bash thighs together. Lolly goes down. It's not a penalty. He's outside the box, but nothing gets given at all there. guess if there's no simulation yellow card that he just thinks it's coming together and there's no foul or tackle. But yeah, it seemed to be a tough couple of minutes there for Forest. Semedo comes in for Sal in central midfield. Sal was on a yellow card, and I guess Lamouchi's thinking every decision's going against him, so he pulls him out for the red card risk. Amiobi comes, he had a couple of knocks, didn't he? And Diakabi's got loads of pace, so Amiobi comes out and Diakabi goes in. Bryce Samba gets a yellow. He's still annoyed about the Amiobi foul, and Stroud now gives one for West Brom, and Bryce Samba comes out and talks himself into the book. Phillips comes on for Pereira, keeping his best player fresh there. Remember, he's got the lead here. Ben Watson nearly scores from the halfway line, although I think it's a good sort of 4 or 5 feet over the bar, and Johnston was back on the line, but interesting effort nonetheless. And here comes the third interesting decision. Lolly is running at Bartley inside the box. The ball is bouncing. He tries to flip it up to go inside him, and it hits Bartley's arm. The ball's not moving fast. I suppose the argument, silhouette of the body looks fine, but my argument with these ones is it's in the penalty box and Lolly's got a shot on goal after this one, and the ball hitting the arm has stopped it. It's so muddy now. Remember, if that's a shot on goal, then it's definitely given handball because it's a shot on goal. But then we get back to the deliberate, not deliberate. I suppose Stroud's out here is it's not deliberate, but my argument is it's a winger running into the box. He's trying to set himself for a shot, and the ball hits a guy's hand. It's the wording of the laws, because Stroud can get out of it on it not being deliberate, but I would think that most people would call that one a penalty. So Forest, in the space of 15 minutes, have had a free kick missed, which then results in a goal. They've had a free kick on the edge of the area, not given for Sawyers on Lolly. And this one, yeah, you can argue with the pedantry of the wording of the rule that it's not deliberate, etc., etc., but that looks like a penalty to me, and the term sin them given will come up for that one. So I think Forest are hard done by. When you aggregate all of the 3 decisions, and one's resulted in a goal, and one's resulted in a possible penalty, and one a very good attacking free kick, I think you'll all admit, even if you're a West Brom fan, Forest a little bit hard done to for all 3 of those decisions to seemingly go against them in one go. Did I manage to tread that one nicely? There we go. Tyler Walker comes on for Thiago Silva. Suppose he's going to stay 10 and try and get up and support Graben where he goes. Max says, can't see us wanting anyone to play us in the playoffs. Only 1 loss against the top 7. I've been saying that for a while about Forest and the playoffs. I totally agree. They're really set up to play against teams who are going to attack, and they've done it very well. Break down the left-hand side on 82, inside to Robinson. Good strike. This opens up, edge of the box, right foot, puts it over. Decent opening. Grzycki for Robson Carney now. He goes right. Robinson goes central. Phillips goes left. Watson, a couple of good long-range efforts here from West Brom. Watson half clears. Sawyers smashes that one, goals. And then a great effort from Robinson from outside the box, and Samba gets down to make a good save. Then we nearly get our 3rd own goal. This is a great game to talk about, I have to say. Grzycki down the right, on the run. He slams it across the goal, and Figueiredo, I don't think he's got anyone with him. I don't think he needs to play this one. And he slides in and puts it just past the post and looks kind of crazed in his head. Leo says we've got to stay in there in 7th because we could drop down to 7th if everyone wins. We've pointed that out earlier in this broadcast. We are 8 minutes from 3 o'clock. If Brentford, Fulham, and who else is in that gap? I can't even think. Preston win, then yes, Forest do drop down to 7th. But Forest fans correctly pointing out that they look well set for a playoff game. They do ever so well against these top teams. And again, they get out today. Bristol City, thanks, Mac. They get out again today with a point, and it's. The board goes up for 5 minutes, and it's the most championship thing in the world because you know there's going to be another goal, don't you? It goes forward. Watson is up there. It's direct. It falls to Cash, who's the right back, who's up there. I know he's a more attacking player by trade. This is a brilliant goal, I have to say. Cash shifts it to his right, and he's going to cut the shot back across his body. He gets such a good contact on it, such a good flight. Flies in the far corner. A great moment. And I have to say, even as a neutral, I did kind of chuckle when that goal went in, because I do think the three decisions against Forest, even though West Brom were kind of a bit more progressive after it went 2-1, I think Forest were hard done to, and my moral code says they deserved that equaliser, and it's a great finish by Cash slamming it in the top corner. But 2-2, that's not it for this game. Harper comes in for Kravinovic, just a bit of extra energy and freshness in the central midfield. But I think Phillips gets fouled by Cash as a free kick, literally last kick of the game. So obviously they've added on a bit of extra time because there was a goal in stoppage time, but we're after the 5 minutes minimum. Grzycki's so good on the set plays, isn't he? Smashes it in. First of all, there's a brilliant defensive header. I don't know who that was, from a Forest player facing his own goal. Samba doesn't come for it. Good delivery. It goes out. It's headed back in. So from what I remember from seeing the Sky freeze frame, the first header back in, I think they're okay. I don't know whether... I know there's basically two lines, but then you have Robson Kanu and whoever was with him on the further back on the goal line. But I think the guy who shoots is Robinson, who's on side. Then you have Robson Kanu and let's just say it's Cash. I'm sorry if it's not. I think it's Cash who's with him on the goal line. Maybe Figueiredo. I need to watch the replay again. Samba comes out to block. So there's two players behind. Robinson hits the shot, and I think it was Oscar said in the chat that he is laid down on the goal line and part of his body is in an offside position. Although the ball doesn't hit Robson Kanu until it's gone over the line, but then is he interfering with play? Is he impeding Cash, who could block the shot? What I do know, and what I said earlier, is if Robinson puts it in the other corner, I think the goal stands, because Samba would come out to block. There's no one in his line of sight. Robson Kanu just lays back behind the goal line and watches the ball go in the net. So we were actually very close to a last kick of the game, 96th minute winner, with possible controversial offside as well for West Brom. Wow, pick that one apart. In the end, I think given the decisions that went against Forest, I actually thought it was a fair result and for the 2-2 there. I do not have the XG. I know West Brom dominated the possession. Let me just bring up the XG for this one, see if that tells us any more in terms of... Oh, West Brom quite heavily ahead in the XG, 1.57 to 0.88. I suppose that's because there was an own goal for West Brom as well. So I do think, though, a contentious goal. My eye test on it and my kind of football fan watching heart says Forest deserved that one 2-2 after the penalty call and the goal decision went against them. But the XG says different. Hey, it's all about opinions, isn't it? I think West Brom have had a great week, haven't they? They won 3 on the trot. They won 2 this week, and they were on for the perfect 3-game week. 7 points. They've done really well. I don't think they'll be too unhappy. Big picture. If I bring up that table, Enzo says, in the meantime, Forest don't have many more tough matches against top 6 teams, so the running might work out. So West Brom are 7 points clear as we stand. Enzo says we've done Brentford, West Brom and Leeds. There you go. West Brom 7 points clear as it stands. Leeds, Fulham, Brentford, Preston, all literally kicking off in about 2 minutes as we film this. Forest... still better against the top teams. If you look, there's a win in the column against Brentford, a win against Leeds, there's a defeat against Charlton, a defeat against Birmingham. Maybe the mitigating factor of the rested players against Charlton is something, but I don't know, there must be more 3-game weeks, and there's Easter still to come as well, so we'll see if Lamouche has had his fingers burnt by that. But that's a decent result, and they are still in there. So look, really interesting game. I think Mr. Stroud will... write very carefully when he writes up his report and just check the wordings of everything there. But classic championship stuff. I think both teams will be happy with that one in the end, considering how the game flowed and considering how some of the decisions went, even from a West Brom point of view. And we will see how the results for the rest of the day impact on Forest. West Brom still in a nice position. Leo says Preston and Bristol City still to come for Forest. And they're the ones you want, aren't they? They're the ones on the edge that you want to just palm away and keep away. But I'm glad people are agreeing with me, because I've said this for a while now. Ever since Forest played Derby, and as the first time I saw them in the flesh under Lamouchi, Forest will be a good playoff team if they can get in there. Big chance that they could shut out even a Fulham team with Mitrovic, possibly. One team out of Fulham and Leeds is going to be in the playoffs, so you're going to have to come up against a team very good with the ball. And Brentford, obviously, we've seen Forest go there and win this past week, let alone Brentford having to go to Forest. So all opening up nicely, and now only 13 games to go for Forest and West Brom. Saying on the radio, major controversy. Albion scored in the last minute, ball was over the line. Yeah, we've just been talking about that, whether he was offside when the ball was hit. Really, really fuzzy one to deal with. I'll let you discuss that one in the comments, and I'm sure we'll see super duper slow motions of that one. I think my position on that one is that he is possibly interfering with play, because maybe he's stopping Cash, he's occupying Cash, who could block the shot. What I do know, and I'm clear on this, if Robinson puts that in the other corner, it's a goal, because he's onside. And I think if it goes in the other corner and he's not in line of sight and the ball doesn't go anywhere near him, then there's a fair argument he's not interfering. I just think at the end of that, Stroud was very happy when that flag went up to go, okay, offside, let's get out of here and let's get this one done. Box says he can smell a Will Keane hat-trick. Some Ipswich talk there. Ipswich about to kick off against Burton. Someone asked if I'm doing any more reviews today. No, I'm probably going to go and have a bath and listen to Jeff Stelling. So I might watch Liverpool and Norwich later. We will have a look then. Thank you everybody for watching. Please give your opinions. NJ says good result for Forest. I totally agree. Get your opinions down in the comments about all of that stuff, about all of those decisions, the 3 that went against Forest and the one that possibly against West Brom, and your thoughts generally on what that does to the picture. Thank you everybody for watching. Enjoy the 3 o'clocks, and we'll see you soon for the results there. Josh says, come on, Norwich, difficult one. Norwich at home to the world's greatest Liverpool at the moment, although they beat Man City, didn't they? So stranger things have happened. Thank you very much for watching. See you soon.